When's the last time you were at work and you desperately needed a mental reset? Last week? This morning? Is it happening right now? My 9 to 5 is the single most demanding part of my day, and I'm not alone. When you're balancing project deadlines, side hustles, meetings that should have been emails, mental clarity can be hard to come by. And usually you don't even notice until a deadline gets missed. So this year, I pared down to a simple reset ritual that I use constantly to get my ducks in a row, and it takes less than 15 minutes. In this video, we are rewiring your weekly reset to make critical tasks a priority, routine second nature, and split focus a thing of the past. Step 1 to our reset process is going to be to get absolutely everything out of our head with a good old-fashioned brain dump. So grab a notebook, whatever you're using is fine. If you're using a planner, whatever, just grab something with a big empty space so that you can do a brain dump. On the left side of your page, you're going to do a brain dump here. Honestly, brain dumping is one of my most tried and true methods when I am stressed out at work or I need an immediate reset, especially when I feel like I'm losing stuff. It is such an underrated productivity technique because it literally gets the chaos out of your head and onto paper where you can actually deal with it. So when you're writing things down, everything you're thinking about, from tasks to worries to random ideas, things you need to remember, whatever, you're going to free up the mental space that was being used to hold all that information, get it out on paper, and then you can deal with it. It's a common saying that your brain is for having ideas, not storing them, and brain dumping is the way that you get out of that storing trap, right? When we feel overwhelmed, what we're doing is we're trying to keep everything inside of our head. The first way to fix that is to just get it all out. And trust me, there is a magical feeling that comes after you brain dump. If you've ever used a brain dump before, it's truly magical how calm you feel once you see that all that mental chaos is really just a manageable list of actual things you can work through one by one. So in your notebook, write out absolutely everything you can think of that needs doing, no matter how small, and just do that writing until your brain can't think of anything else to add. This is what mine ended up looking like when I brain dumped all of my work tasks out. All that mental clutter inside my brain was literally just like 5 inches of paper space, maybe even less. No, like 5 inches of paper space. It didn't even end up being a full page, and here I thought I was gonna take like 2 pages. So again, once you get it out, you can really see how manageable it truly is. Once everything is visible on the page, you're gonna go on to step 2, which is organizing, prioritizing, and actually making decisions instead of just feeling overwhelmed by the swirling mess in your mind. And we're going to do that by creating an Eisenhower Matrix. That's what this right-hand side of the page is going to be for. So left side brain dump, right-hand side Eisenhower Matrix. If you're a fan of this channel, you've probably seen me use this before. I think it is one of the simplest and easiest ways to learn how to prioritize. And it goes like this. You're going to make a box with 4 boxes inside. And along the x-axis, you're going to write urgent and not urgent. And then along the y-axis, you're going to write not important and important. So the things up here above this dividing line are everything that's important. The things below are everything that's not important. Everything urgent belongs in this column to the left of this center divide. Everything not urgent belongs in this column to the right of the center divide. And then these 4 boxes each have something special that they do. So when you're thinking through your tasks one by one and you come across a task that is both urgent and important, you want to put it in this box. This box is called the do box. It is for tasks with impending deadlines, tasks that only you can do, or you own the project, so only you have to do it. Stuff with big consequences might go in here, like it's for a very impressive stakeholder, or maybe it's coming up really quickly and you want to maintain a relationship with the person for whom you're doing this project, something like that. That's going to go in the important and urgent category. Important and non-urgent are things you want to schedule. Anything with unclear deadlines, it's sort of loose. It's only your idea and you'd really like to get it done. It's very important for your workflow, but it's not something that like your boss is telling you to do, for example. It's something long-term, not in the short term. The project and the deadline is maybe due in a while, not immediately. For me, I personally like to schedule these in meetings or working sessions. So if I need to work on something particular with a team member, I will actually put it on both of our calendars for a future date in a working session, or I'll just make a working session for myself on my calendar to handle whatever is in the schedule category. Then things that are urgent but not important mean you delegate them.
So delegating means these tasks must get done, and they must get done fast because they're in the urgent column, but they don't really require your specific skill set, or they don't fall inside your job description. Anything that could really take a load off of you, you want to explore delegating. And delete, my favorite and most difficult box of all, is for anything that are distractions. So anything you're looking at your brain dump and you're thinking, well, it would be nice if I did that, but it doesn't have an immediate application to your work, you probably want to put it in this category. Any ideas you don't have time for, you want to put in this category. Basically anything that is not like a pending project that you know will come due, a pending project that is urgent, or a pending task that is urgent, or something that must get done quick but maybe is not relevant to your job description. Everything else is going to go in delete. It is the hardest column, or the hardest quadrant to fill, I find, because when we're looking at our brain dump, we can feel like everything on that brain dump is really urgent. I mean, it was just cluttering up our mental space. It had to be urgent for us to keep it in our brains, right? But that's not the case. Some stuff will go in the delete category, and trust me, you will find stuff that needs to go there. So here is what mine looks like. I've taken everything from this page and I've put it into urgent and important, not urgent, delegate and delete, or do schedule, delegate and delete, I should say. And I'll give you some examples. There are a few emails in the urgent category that I must follow up with because they're my projects that I am running. Or I must kickstart a project because I'm the manager of my team, so I'm the one who has to kickstart it. I cannot delegate that task. There are a few things I have to do, like I have to create a special release form that is a skill set that only I have on my team, so I must do it. There are things like I need to buy some storage drives. I have the keys to the credit card, so I must actually make that purchase. I can't delegate it, stuff like that. Meanwhile, things that are not urgent are like, I want to review upcoming video project deadlines with one of my directs, which I definitely have to do, but I don't necessarily need to do it right now. I need to finalize a content plan for an event that we're hosting, and I actually already have this scheduled on my calendar, so it's really not something that's urgent. It's definitely very important, but the schedule is already in the future, so I don't actually need to worry about it right now the way I am worrying about it. I just kind of need to put a note in my calendar for this. And then everything that's not important but that is urgent can be delegated. So most of these things on this list are like student management. There's a lot of stuff on this list that's like tasks that my directs are sort of the lead on certain projects, and so these are tasks that I want to make sure they are doing, but I'm not actually doing it. There's things like I have a certain number of tasks managing like photo capture for my workplace. Like I have to schedule who goes and takes photographs of an event, for example, and I'm actually in the process of delegating that whole workflow to one of my directs. And so I have a few things that I haven't actually passed on to him that I want to pass on to him. So doing those kinds of things go in the delegate category. And what's important about the delegate category is that you actually follow up with the people that you need to do the task. It's not enough to just be like, oh, so-and-so can do that. Your delegate task list is an actual task list that you have to like go to, say I need Brenda to do something. I actually have to go to Brenda and say, hey, Brenda, can you do this? So your delegate task list is a task list, but it's just for those things that you're gonna pass off to people, have the conversation, hey, can you take this on? Hey, can you do this for me? And it's a much, much simpler ask than something that's super urgent or something that's super important. And then, of course, the delete category. I actually did have two things in the delete category from this list. The first one was I wanted to check some time allocation for my team. We track our time at work, and I just wanted to take a peek and make sure that it's all up to date. But honestly, I don't have time for this. Nobody is asking me for it. It's just some team management stuff that I would love to get to eventually, but I don't have time. So I'm just going to delete this entirely off of my list, not think about it until something prompts me to think about it, like a direct report comes to me, tells me they're overwhelmed, or I ask the question, or, my manager asks for a report of our time. Like, I'm just not going to do it unless one of those things is going to prompt me in the future. Then that's when it becomes something that's important. The other thing I have in the delete category is outlining the new project management system. We have a pretty good project management system at our workplace. We use Asana for all of our tasks and everything like that, but there are always new project management software coming out or programs or apps coming out, and myself and the other managers at my workplace really like some of them, and we've poked our noses around a few of them, and of course I have lots of opinions on task management, so we've explored those, but the truth is that what we have works pretty good for right now, and none of us really have the time to go in depth into these new apps or other ideas that we have and create a whole new team system from scratch. We don't have the time to do that, let alone train the team on a whole new system right now. So this is just going to be deleted. I have to accept good enough as good enough and put that in the delete category. So you can see how when I'm organizing things into these 4 categories, I'm doing that in a way that is brutal and realistic. I'm carefully considering what I have put into this category, especially because we can often feel like we have to do everything our way or that everything is falling on us, right? We forget that we have help. And that is where this delegate category comes from. One of the most powerful things for me as a manager was learning how to delegate. The first couple times I did this whole process at my current position, at the manager's level, this box was nearly empty. I'm one of those people who's so attached to doing everything the way I like it done, but part of delegating is letting your perfectionism go. So that doesn't mean you should just let whoever you're delegating it to do a bad job or something, but rather that if you're going to free yourself from the task, you also have to free yourself of any control you want to have over the process. You give them the instructions, you give them the deadline, you give them the deliverables, and then you let them come back to you with questions rather than micromanaging. That way they can focus on the work you've handed them and you can focus on what's actually critical to you to be doing. But also, I want to say, if you're watching this video and you're like, Rachel, I don't have a direct report, I don't have anybody helping me on my team, I just don't have anyone I can delegate to, I'm doing it all myself, don't worry. I feel like those situations often arise when you are self-employed or you have a side hustle or maybe you're just starting your own business. And doing this process, brain dumping and sorting it into the Eisenhower Matrix can still work for you even if you don't have anyone to delegate to because you're in one of those situations. I want to acknowledge you still have the same number of hours in a day as someone working an office job with employees, but you just don't have the support of that environment. So if you're in a situation where you don't have anyone to delegate to, I recommend thinking about how you can outsource what you need done. Like truly outsource. I mean, hire somebody else to take care of it for you or pay for a service.
Speaking of outsourcing, if you've ever thought about starting a side business but got overwhelmed by the logistics, I want to tell you about Printful, who's kindly sponsoring today's video. Printful is a print-on-demand platform that lets you design and sell custom products without any upfront costs or inventory. I'm talking journals, planners, notebooks. It's perfect for someone in the productivity space who wants to turn their planning obsession into an actual income. Here's what blew my mind. You literally don't have to touch a single product. You can create a design, maybe a cute weekly planner layout or a motivational journal cover, upload it to Printful's catalog of over 370 products, and they handle everything else. When someone buys your journal design, Printful automatically prints it, packages it, and ships it directly to your customer. The best part is you only pay Printful after someone buys from you, so there's zero financial risk. No boxes cluttering your apartment, no trips to the post office, no wondering if you ordered too many planners in lavender. Printful integrates seamlessly with Shopify, Etsy, and even TikTok Shop, so you can set it up once and let it run. They've got global fulfillment centers, which means faster shipping and happier customers. I love this because it's the ultimate set it and forget it side hustle. You design once and it can generate income while you're sleeping. Or, better yet, focusing on your day job. If you've been wanting to monetize your creativity without the business headaches, check out Printful. I'll leave the link in the description below. Thanks to Printful for sponsoring. Now back to getting your actual work life in order.
Before we get on to step 3 of the process, I want to mention if your workplace has some kind of centralized digital project management system, now is the time to drop your tasks and priorities into that digital project management system so that they can be in their proper homes. As I mentioned, I do have a digital project management system. I have a digital task manager with my workplace. So as soon as I finish this process, I'm pulling out all the urgent things, non-urgent things, and I'm putting those directly into Asana. And I'm tagging them with all the relevant things that I need to tag them with. If I'm putting in delegated tasks, I'm putting putting the instructions in and then assigning them to the appropriate employee. You know your task management system better than I do, so just put whatever you need to put in there to make sure these categories are completed, and then you no longer need to reference this page at all. Then these 2 pages are just done. They're done. Of course, you might be a paper exclusive person, and maybe you already have a task management system that works for you on paper. So at this point, I would encourage you to plug these things into that notebook or planner. And then, like I said, you can get rid of this page. But if you don't have a good task management system right now, don't worry. I'm going to show you in a second how to pull things out of this Eisenhower Matrix to still get your priorities accomplished. Honestly, task managers are so vast and unique, and this is going to be a quick and dirty method to get stuff done so you don't feel so overwhelmed right now. But if you want more in-depth information on task management and on all the key parts of your productivity system, that's what I'm talking about over on my newsletter right now. The next issue should come out sometime this week, so if you haven't subscribed yet, you can do so in the description or using the QR code on screen. That's just going to give you a little bit more detail. But like I said, we're going to go through it in this video right now to make sure you feel a little bit less overwhelmed. However you sort your tasks, whatever system you're using, I recommend marking those tasks with some kind of keyword that represents one of these 4 quadrants. Obviously, ideally, you're not putting any of the delete category into your system, so one of these 3 quadrants. But you can use those keywords like do or schedule or delegate as additional tags in a paper-based or in a digital system, and that way you can just make sure you're keeping the Eisenhower Matrix in mind when you are putting those tasks in. So I recommend having a little bit of relationship with your paper system and your digital system or your separate task management notebook or planner, and then you can move on to step 3, which is choosing what we are actually working on. And now at last we are planning our day. So I'm gonna go ahead and write today. And then I want you to go back into your Eisenhower Matrix or task management system if you did that part and choose the top 3 things that must get done today. The first 2 things should be from this category, the do category. Something that only you can do that must get done today from the first quadrant. And these 2 things that you're gonna do are things that are gonna take immediate pressure off of present you. So pick your 2 things and write them down right now. I'm gonna say the 2 things I have to do are 2 emails that I have to write, so I'm gonna write those down. I chose these things out of this urgent category because they are the 2 things that are the most urgent, as in if I don't do them literally today, I will miss something, or I will miss my opportunity to do them, or I will push back a major deadline. So choose 2 things out of this category. The third thing you're going to add to your daily to-do list is going to be something from the important but non-urgent schedule for later category. The stuff that you ended up putting in this category is probably stuff that nobody's really asking you about right now, but that you can see coming down the pipeline that just really should be planned or scheduled or something. So you're gonna pull from this category and you're gonna put it down on your list. Let me demonstrate with mine right now. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up the fall project tracker because it's already fall. Nobody is asking me for this, but I really should do it because I can see if I don't, stuff is just gonna spiral out of control later. So I'm gonna go ahead and write set up fall project tracker. Oh, also, now that I've moved things out of this and onto this list, I'm just gonna go ahead and cross them off here. Moved that, I've moved that. I like to cross them off and put a little arrow next to them. Just helps me see that they've been migrated and not fully completed. Anyway, pulling 1 task per day from this schedule for later column means that you will actually be getting through these tasks or scheduling them on your calendar for later. So really what I want you to do is put this on your agenda either for today or make a plan for when you're gonna do it. If you have a bunch of time today, great. If not, then your task becomes set up fall project tracker, schedule for next week, right? And then all you have to do is slot it into your calendar on a given date and time next week because it's not really related to this week. It's for next week. What this is going to do is it's going to take care of future you because pretty much always the stuff in this category is going to soon move to this category. And if you let this category go stale, suddenly you have twice as many tasks in your urgent and important box. But you don't have to do that. You can both take care of present you and future you at the same time. So pick 2 tasks that are urgent that only you can do, and then pick 1 task to either schedule or complete on any given day. And that way you will be taking care of future you, which is immensely, immensely helpful and honestly a really nice thing to do for your future self. Now, obviously, you might say, Rachel, I'm gonna have way more things than 3 things to do in any given day. I just have a lot going on. And that is true. You're going to have tasks on tasks that build up after this. Things are going to come up, it's unavoidable. But having these 3 priorities are going to stop this endless to-do list from crushing your spirit, okay? Once you get through these 3 things, you can then move on to anything else that comes up during the day, or pull anything else that's urgent from your important and urgent category that must get done. Or you could even spend the rest of the day following up on everything you delegated, or really considering all your tasks and deciding, you know what, I was too liberal with this whole experiment. I actually need to put more in the delete category. Like, you can spend the rest of your day doing any number of those things that are important and are necessary for you to do in order to have a stable work life. But at the end of the day, you're gonna feel accomplished because you got your big 3 done. The very last thing I recommend, step 4, is to actually get these done, first of all. And then also, when you're sitting down to get your daily task list done, just have a blank sheet of paper next to you. Stuff is gonna come up during the day. You know, maybe you draw this line like I drew, and then all the stuff that comes up during the day you write just below it. Or maybe stuff comes up during the day that is far reaching that you don't actually have to do that day, and you can just write little notes like, oh, call mom later, make sure presentation matches brand colors. For example, ideas you have that are not related, like pasta for dinner. Or you could even use it as a place to draw. Like, I do web pages pretty frequently, and so a lot of the times my notebooks have some sort of like sketch about various different like web pages and how they're gonna look. So a lot of the times my scratch page that I have next to me at work will look like this. And then any of these like tasks that you come up with during the day, or anything that gets added down here that you don't necessarily have time to do that day, then you just take it back into your brain dump and plug it all back into your Eisenhower Matrix. And then you do this process over and over again: brain dump, Eisenhower Matrix, task list for the day, scratch paper, all the way back around. At various times in my work life, I have done this routine of the brain dump and the Eisenhower Matrix monthly. I've also done it weekly, especially as things get more busy. This is a huge part of my weekly reset every week. So just do it, whatever works for you. Just set aside the few minutes you need to feel clear on a given month, week, or day. Do this process and then actually get it done. I promise you will feel so much less overwhelmed, and you will actually get your priorities complete.
The most important facet of this reset is that it's short, sweet, and doesn't aim to organize your entire work life in one go. So if you hit 15 minutes and still feel a little clouded, put it down anyway. It's the repetition of this habit that will, day by day, transform your relationship with your work. If you're looking to make sure you don't forget any work tasks in your new system, you might want to try my drop and find method to keep track of all your deadlines. So I will leave that on the screen right here next to my head. And if you're interested in learning more about thinking on paper, check out my newsletter. It's where I elaborate on things I can't fit into videos, so you're always getting something new and you can act on it right away. As always, thank you so much for watching, for being awesome, for being subscribed. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one.